We are exactly 24 hours away from the 2024 NFL Draft. I'm recording this at 5:12 p.m. on the day before the draft, April 24th. It's going to be my final mock draft before the actual draft. It's going to be 2 rounds. I'm going to have some trades, try and predict exactly what each team goes with. This isn't going to be what I would do, but personally what I think will happen in real life tomorrow once the draft commences. So let's get it started here. I'm going to be picking 2 rounds with every single team. And of course, this one doesn't seem to be very tough. Caleb Williams. He's been my option for the Bears ever since the offseason started. I always thought that they were going to move away from Justin Fields. So I got him going number one. Number two, it's going to be what I've also been predicting all offseason long. I think Jayden Daniels just works better for what the Commanders are looking to do, but I personally am higher on Drake May. I think Drake May, given that he has, the tools to succeed in New England, I think that he will be the better option for, an NFL franchise to begin with. Number four, Arizona Cardinals. Interesting. They could trade here. I had them trading previously in my past mock, but I think they're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr., just an elite wide receiver, something that will give Kyler Murray to throw to. Now, number five, this is where we find our first trade. Last mock draft, I had the Minnesota Vikings moving up to 4. This time, I'm going to have them moving up to 5. I don't have PFF Plus because it costs money, so I'm just going to edit it on my YouTube side. We're going to have the Vikings selecting quarterback J.J. McCarthy. I'll also flash up on the screen the details of the trades. That way you can follow along. But the Vikings trade up to 5. Chargers will trade down to 11 and get some other stuff along the way. Now, number 6, we got the New York Football Giants. I think that they're going to go and get a tackle of the future in Joe Alt. Secure up the offensive line, hopefully give Daniel Jones and maybe the future quarterback, once they move on from him, some success, something to work on. Here we have the Tennessee Titans. I think the Tennessee Titans are also going to build on the offensive line. They're going to go with Olu Fashanu. Where is he? There he is. Number 8. This is where I think Dallas Turner, the man who blew up the combine, had a great showing there. The athletic freak, he's going to fit in with the Atlanta Falcons. They need to start building on that defensive line. This is where he finds his fit. Now the Bears, they went Caleb Williams number 1. They're going to need to give him a threat. They do already have Keenan Allen, who they just got, as well as DJ Moore. I think maybe get another guy in there. I think that answer could be Malik Neighbors. Crazy athlete, could possibly the number 1 wide receiver off the board in any other class that doesn't have Marv in it. So that's a great get by the Chicago Bears. Now number 10, another great get is going to be Brock Bowers. He's got top 5 talent. It's just that he is a tight end, so he's going to find himself a little bit lower than what he'd like to be going for. All right, we're back. Sorry for the interruption. I was rudely interrupted by a phone call. Someone trying to get my money. Now, number 11, this pick, it says Vikings. It belongs to the Los Angeles Chargers since the Vikings traded up to get J.J. McCarthy. I think that this pick is going to go to Roma Dunes. They got rid of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They need some receivers to support Justin Herbert in this new offense under Mr. Harbaugh. So they're going to go Roma Dunes out of Washington. Now, number 12 here, the Broncos could reach for a QB, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. They're going to go and build on the defense. I think Quinyon Mitchell, QB1 out of the draft class, played in the MAC, but that doesn't matter. He's got elite talent. Going to be a day 1 starter on the outside. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders at 13, I think they need to build on the offensive line. I think they're going to go with Tylese Fuaga. He can possibly move to guard, play tackle in a pinch, so he's a good option there for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, number 14, I think that the New Orleans Saints need to build on the line as well. I think they're going to go and get someone out of the SEC. That would be J.C. Latham, the tackle out of Alabama. And at 15, the Indianapolis Colts. They could either go wide receiver or DB here. I think there's some good options. You could, Cooper DeJean or maybe A.D. Mitchell. I think they're going to go Cooper DeJean. Recovered from his injury pretty well. Seemed to have a really good pro day. Personal and private pro day since he was recovering later than anyone from the injury. But he seems to be all good now. And now we find ourselves at 16, halfway through the first round. Seattle Seahawks, they have the tackles. They need some interior offensive line. I think they're going to get someone from UW. It's going to be Troy Fatanu. He can play tackle if, Abe Lucas or Charles Cross gets hurt, but he's going to be a guard for the Seahawks for years to come. Now the Jags, they desperately need a corner. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell already gone. They're going to have to go and find the third best corner in the class. I think that third decision would be Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. You can pair well Patrick Surtain. That should be a good combo in Denver. Now we got the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. I think they need to get some help on the defensive interior. I think the best defensive interior lineman in the class by far is Byron Murphy, the second out of Texas. He's going to fall to 19, but that's a great, or 18. That's a great selection by the Cincinnati Bengals there. And then now at 19, the LA Rams. They're going to need some help on defense as well. I think that they're going to want to go with Jared Verse out of Florida State. He's going to be a good edge rusher. Going to help and replace the hole that Aaron Donald filled. See, what he can do in Inglewood. And then at 20, it's going to be our second trade of the draft. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs will trade pick number 32 and pick number 64 to move up to pick number 20. They could possibly also get like a late round pick, maybe a 6th or a 7th from the Steelers, but that doesn't matter in this scenario. So the Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock at 20. I think they're going to go out and get a receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. Absolute weapon, crazy speed. Good body size as well. What is he? Let's see if it would pop up. Brian Thomas Jr. Oh, you got to pay for it. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. Brian Thomas Jr., he's a freak. That's all you need to know. And now we have the Miami Dolphins on the clock. I think that they're going to need to secure the interior offensive line. Graham Barton out of Duke. Listed as a tackle. He played tackle in college, but he's definitely going to be moving to the interior for the Miami Dolphins. Now we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. They have a few options they could go with, either an edge rusher possibly and help out the defensive line, or linebacker kind of edge hybrid depending on what type of formation they're in, or they could go receiver with A.D. Mitchell. I think they're actually going to go with a corner and a Nate Wiggins. I think that he's going to be a good speedy fit for the defense, give him some options and explosiveness in the secondary. And now we find ourselves with the trade. This is the Los Angeles Chargers' second pick. Since they traded down from 5, they got the pick 11 as well as pick 23 from the Minnesota Vikings. So I think here that the Los Angeles Chargers are going to take an edge rusher. I think they're going to go with Latu Latu out of UCLA. Good fit, staying in California. Going from UCLA to the Los Angeles Chargers. Now we find ourselves the Dallas Cowboys. Their offensive line used to be a weapon. Now it's kind of been battered and beaten. A lot of people are going to be leaving. I think they need to start focusing on getting some more offensive tackles. I think that their option is going to be Amarius Mims out of Georgia. Now we find ourselves with the Green Bay Packers. They have a few different options here. I think they're going to want to beef up the interior defensive line and go Jerzon Newton out of Illinois. Kind of had him, in previous mocks go into this position like that B.J. Raji comp. And now we find ourselves with the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are going to go with the defensive lineman as well. It's going to be on the edge, however, Chop Robinson out of Penn State. It's going to be the pick here. Here it says Arizona Cardinals pick 27, but this is actually going to be our next trade of the draft. The Arizona Cardinals are going to trade this pick to the Las Vegas Raiders, and they're going to get their next quarterback of the future. It's not going to be Bo Nix. It's going to be Michael Penix Jr. I think Penix, he has, one of the best arms in the draft, and the Las Vegas Raiders are going to, in that Las Vegas fashion, take the gamble on the injury history and just select their man. Go Michael Penix Jr. late in the first round, trade up so they can get that extra year option on his contract. It gives them a few different maneuvers in Las Vegas. And now pick 28. Buffalo Bills desperately need a wide receiver. This is where Adonai Mitchell, here's his name called, he's going to be moving up to upstate New York. And now the Detroit Lions are on the clock. They have a few different options here, but I think they're going to go with the defensive end, Darius Robinson out of Missouri. He's been moving up draft boards recently. He's still ranked 61 on PFF, but he's going to be hearing his name called late first round, early second round, a lot earlier than 61, that's for sure. So we got Darius Robinson, the edge, out of Missouri to the Detroit Lions. Now on the clock is the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens, they got a few options, but they want to secure the offensive line. So they're going to be going with Jordan Morgan, the tackle out of Arizona. He's kind of like a, high potential, needs some time, but I think he can develop and possibly be a good option for the Baltimore Ravens. And now at 31, the San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. San Francisco 49ers also need to work on the offensive tackle. I think they're going to go with Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. Pretty lucky to find him still on the board here. And then now we find ourselves with the Pittsburgh Steelers pick, since they traded pick 20 to get 32 and 64 from the Chiefs. They're going to secure the offensive line. It's going to be interior center Jackson Powers Johnson. Best center in the nation last year in Oregon. He's going to hear his name called in the end of the first round, which brings ourselves to the Carolina Panthers. Very first pick of the draft. Now the Carolina Panthers, they're going to want to help out their man, Bryce Young, the gingerbread man. They're going to go with Xavier Worthy, the very fastest player in this draft class. I think his explosiveness is going to give something to work with on offense, and hopefully he can stay healthy with that small frame of his. But that should be a good option if everything works out in Carolina. Now 34, the second pick for the New England Patriots. I think that they are going to want to give Drake May some options. I think they're going to go with the wide receiver Keon Coleman out of Florida State. Pretty slow 40-yard dash, but that's all right. I think he has better game speed. He reminds me of an Anquan Boldin, a new era Anquan Boldin is my player comp for Keon Coleman. So look out for that in the near future. And now we find ourselves with the Arizona Cardinals. We are going to go on the secondary. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is a good pick for them. He could have been a first rounder. He just, slipped out into the second. Doesn't have the best turnover percentage, but he plays great. He's not the fastest, but I think he'll be a good fit for the Arizona Cardinals there. And now we find ourselves with the Washington Commanders. I think they're going to want to beef up the secondary as well. They're going to go with Tyler Newman out of Minnesota. And then we find ourselves with the LA Chargers. LA Chargers, I think they're going to get a Michigan man. Jim Harbaugh tends to stick with his guys. I think it's going to be Junior Colson. Honestly, my favorite linebacker in the draft. I'm a Seahawks fan, so I'd like the Seahawks to get him, but I think he's going to go earlier than the Seahawks' second pick. So Junior Colson gets his name called here at 37. Now at 38, the Tennessee Titans, I think they want Will Levis to have a little white boy action, like a little white boy swag. So they're going to go Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. Now at 39, we got the Panthers' second pick. I think they're going to beef up the offensive line. They're going to go with Zach Frazier, the center out of West Virginia. Now the Washington Commanders back on the clock again. I think that they're going to go and beef up the offensive line as well. This is going to be a tackle pick. Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU from Oregon, man. He's actually related to Penei Sewell. I just learned, fun fact. Pretty cool. And now at 41, Green Bay Packers. I think they're going to pick a Wazoo boy, the safety Jaden Hicks. He can play kind of all around the field. Pretty athletic, not the best coverage guy, but I think he can grow into some coverage positions in the NFL. Just got to learn. That's a good pick for the Green Bay Packers there. And now at 42, we find ourselves with Chris Jenkins being selected. Where are you? Nope, wrong guy. Where are you, Chris Jenkins? There you are. Interior defensive lineman for the Michigan Wolverines is selected 42 by the Houston Texans. And now 43, the Atlanta Falcons again. Earlier in the draft, they selected Dallas Turner. So I think they're going to go and boost up the defense again, but it's going to be a secondary pick. I think they're going to go with Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Missouri. SEC boy, has the talent ready to possibly, play in the NFL immediately. But just, needs to work on a few things to completely mold his game. And then at 44, this pick now belongs to the Arizona Cardinals. Traded away their first round pick so they could allow the Las Vegas Raiders to select Michael Penix. They're going to select an interior offensive lineman out of Connecticut, Christian Haynes. Now at 45, we have the New Orleans Saints. I think they're going to boost up the defensive line as well. They're going to go with Marshawn Kneeland. Marshawn Kneeland is crazy athletic for a defensive end. Just got to work on the pass rush moves, and he could be a weapon for them. Now at 46, the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to select the wide receiver, Troy Franklin. Oh, no. Troy Franklin. There you go. Good pick. He was, sliding down the board a little bit, but here's his name's called middle of the second round. All right, and now Jacksonville Jaguars have pick 48. They got a corner in the first round. I think they want to boost up the offensive weapons for Trevor Lawrence. They're going to go with Roman Wilson, another Michigan man. And that puts the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. They're going to go with receiver as well. Jalen Polk, the second Husky receiver off the board. First was Roma Dunes in the first round. And now the Eagles again on the clock. They're going to go with an offensive line pick here. Kieran, I'm not even going to pretend. I'm not even going to pretend I know how to say that last name. I'm going to go with Kieran. Kieran A. Offensive tackle to the Eagles. Another Michigan man, Mike Sanderstill, to the Pittsburgh Steelers here. And now another trade, my final trade of the draft. The Denver Broncos trading up. They don't have any picks for this draft, so it'll be third round pick, and picks in the second round. So it'll be third round pick plus some other stuff. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Bo Nix going pick number 52 to the Denver Broncos. 53, we got the Eagles. I think they're going to get a linebacker, white boy Peyton Wilson. 54, Cleveland Browns here. Cleveland Browns are going to go with one of my favorite names in the draft, Rook Orororo. Need I say more? Rook Orororo, the defensive interior lineman from Clemson, gets his name called 54. Now 55, we have the Miami Dolphins again. I think they're going to go with Brandon Dorlus, another defensive lineman out of Oregon this time. Now everybody's team, the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to go with another player out of the Lone Star State. It's going to be Jonathan Brooks, the running back. They need some running back help. And at 57, I mean, this pick just makes sense, right? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to go and get TJ Tampa, the corner out of Iowa State. Name fits the team. That's a perfect pick. The Green Bay Packers have pick 58. They got Jerzon Newton early in the draft. I think they're going to build on the offensive line this time. They're going to go with, I think they're going to go Blake Fisher out of Notre Dame. He started at left tackle as a true freshman, tore his meniscus. Some people are saying he's kind of like the more naturally gifted offensive lineman out of Notre Dame compared to Joe Alt. But Joe Alt's kind of like, more ready, technically sound. But Blake Fisher could have some potential in him. He's going to go 58 to the Green Bay Packers. Now at 59, the Houston Texans. I think they're going to go offensive guard. Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State is going to be the pick for the Houston Texans. Now at 60, the Buffalo Bills. They're going to want to secure the offense or defensive line. I think they're going to go, let's see, it might be down there a little bit. He's moving up the draft board. Michael Hall Jr. out of the Ohio State University. Now at 61, the Detroit Lions. I think they're going to want to secure the safety position. They lost C.D. Deuce. I think they're going to go with Javon Bullard out of Georgia. Now the Baltimore Ravens on the clock. I think they're going to go with another secondary Bulldog, Kamari Lassiter. Back-to-back Bulldogs there. Now we find ourselves the penultimate pick in this mock draft. It's going to go to Andrew Phillips out of Kentucky. Good corner there for the San Francisco 49ers. And now with the final pick in the mock draft here before the NFL draft, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers pick. They're going to go with Xavier Legette, the wide receiver out of South Carolina. And that wraps it up. There we go. That is the first round. I'll edit in the logo so it's all correct with the trades. Thank you for tuning in. You'll see my draft reaction videos here on the channel shortly. Everyone, please drop a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you.